All right.
Welcome. Let's see.
Yeah, we're going.
Welcome, everyone, to Sports and Songs podcast. This is episode number 46. Today is November 1st, 2020. I'm your co-host, Dan. Andy, how you doing?
Good. Yourself?
Good. Keeping
Still
warm.
down there in Florida?
I'm in southern Florida, and the weather here is nice. I've got lots to report on here in the baseball and sports world, as do you back home. Correct?
Yes, up here it's a nice 37 degrees. Thank you.
Awesome.
Just one little quote that I saw before you go to your baseball highlights. Kind of a baseball quote from A. Bartlett Giamatti, former commissioner of baseball. It says, "Baseball breaks your heart. It is designed to break your heart. The game begins in the spring when everything else begins again, and it blossoms in the summer, filling the afternoons and evenings. And then as soon as the chill comes and the rains come, it stops and leaves, and you are there to face fall alone. Hence, the baseball season's over. Your tournament's over. How did that turn out?"
Well, it was fun. Once again, I played an over 45 baseball tournament down in sunny Fort Myers, Florida, and so it is the 32nd annual Roy Hobbs tournament. What they do is get senior men's baseball over age 35 for a week, play a tournament. The second week is over 45. The week after that is over 53. And then after that, they get into some older guys, ages 60 and 70 and 75 and above.
Wow.
So it really gets up there. It's the only tournament like this in the nation, and it's pretty fun. The group that I was in has 44 teams this last week. We played in the 45 plus. 4 teams came down from Minnesota, part of the 44 in the group. The Minnesota Diamonds came down. They finished 4th in the Class 4A bracket. The HPK Oilers came down and finished in the top 6 in the 4A bracket. And the Minnesota Millers came down, and they reached the quarterfinals of the Class 2A. So that's very good. I came down this year, played with the Minnesota Bandits. Minnesota Bandits this year reached the finals. We got to the finals in Class 2A, losing out to a Dayton, Ohio team 9-1. But we did get the bling, Andy. We got
Nice.
some bling. We did get medals for finishing runner-up in Class 2A at the Roy Hobbs tournament. So we had a good run. You played 9 games in a 7-day span. And
wow. For a bunch of old guys, that's a lot.
For a bunch of old guys. And back home, you know, what we do in Minnesota is play these 7-inning ball games.
Right.
Come down here, everything's 9. It's full 9-inning games. So you need a bunch of depth for pitching and catching and things like that. But this was a pretty good group that we've brought down and played very well. We had some fun. Won some games, lost a couple games, got into the AA bracket and won 3 straight. Got to the finals and got beat by a very good team from Dayton, Ohio. The nice thing with a tournament like this, Andy, that's different is that you play teams from all over. For instance, the opponents that we had this year, once again, we played a team from Chicago. We played a team from Fort Myers. Played a team out of Maryland. Played a team out of Cincinnati, Baltimore, Dayton, Ohio, and Huntsville, Alabama. So you get to play and meet folks and get to know people from all over the nation. And also in a tournament like this, there are teams from Germany, Russia, Dominican Republic, Venezuela. So it's a good cross section. Plus, there's lots to do. These fields are unused this time of the year in the month of end of October and November, and so it's a great chance for the local fields, to make some revenue, rent money on some of these fields. The complexes here at the Red Sox and the Minnesota Twins are empty this time of year, and shortly after the tournament ends here, ball players start showing up for spring training and whatnot in the spring, and then of course they're used all summer long for that. But it's fun to get down there playing some nice quality field. So that's why I'm down here for this. We'll be taking off here back home, but we had a good time. A shout out to our MVP Neil Cunningham on the squad. He's out of Farmington. Had a great tournament, but it was fun. Of course, we have some laughs, and it's good times. The weather down here is always mid to upper 80s into the 90s, and you get to play in some heat. So this is kind of our last farewell here, and the folks get back to Minnesota. And once again, we jump right into November there, and it gets chilly. So it's fun it's a fun way to extend the season out and play.
Do you guys play the international teams at all, or is it just U.S. teams in one bracket, international in another?
They're all clumped together. This particular year, we didn't have any that we played in the pool play, but in the past we have played the team from Germany. I've played in a team from Moscow, and some of these Puerto Rican teams that are very good. But there's no differentiation where they're from. Now Canada even brings some teams down. Canadians have a couple of teams, and guess who's on? One of the Canadian teams was a guy older than us, Doug Flutie, former NFL quarterback, USFL quarterback, Boston College quarterback. Doug Flutie plays on a team, second base, small guy, does a lot of pitching. Guess what number he wears?
22.
Of course, Doug wears 22. So he's played this now. I think for the last 3 years he's been in this tournament, and good way to stay in shape. Loves the game, does a lot of pitching, and does not give up a lot of walks at all. There's a highlight section each year, and it mentions he's usually mentioned in there with very good control. But Doug Flutie. Now, we did have a game this year. We played next to the team that he was on, and what Doug Flutie drove to the game, the vehicle that he drives is an old Batmobile. And so
Nice.
I kid you not, he had a replica Batmobile vehicle at the game at Fort Myers, and I'm not sure where he lives and how far away, but with the rains coming down, he was quick to split one day and get out. But he drives. There's an image. We'll put it on the YouTube or maybe the Instagram. I did grab a shot of his.
All right.
It's a Batmobile. So fun guy, has a lot of fun. Still in shape, very good shape. But there's various players down here. I mean, Bill Spaceman Lee has played in this tournament. Dante Bichette and some other players like that come down here and get in the mix, have some fun. They play some ball, and celebrities of some sorts.
I suppose Flutie at that time when he was in the CFL probably bought a house in Canada, lives there now, I guess, and that's
that
what qualifies.
Yeah, that's right. If he lives there, I'm not sure where he is from. Someone said that he drives about an hour, maybe. He lives in the area. Maybe he has a second house, but
If it comes down in the winter.
He could do that. He could very well do that. And I'm not sure what his age is, but it's over 45, obviously. But, the former Boston College quarterback. And in the USFL, I think he played with the New Jersey Generals.
Yep. And he did play for the Patriots a little bit in the NFL. And I know the Bears, he was with the Bears. And I can't remember where else he played. I know he was with the Patriots for a while. He one of Belichick's trick plays, he did a drop kick for a 2-point conversion one time during a game. So.
I vaguely remember that, but yes.
Yeah. He was in as the trick play guy.
So good stuff. It's a fun time, and we'll be down here. We'll do our preview, of course, next year before we come down again for the number of teams. This year was shortened season, some less teams due to the COVID, due to the pandemic, but usually there's 50, 55 teams that come down roughly each week. This year was just the 44 or 45 teams. So it's a good time. Eat a lot of good seafood during the week.
Nice. We'll transition. Speaking of Canada, speak a little bit of hockey here, college hockey. WCHA college hockey announced their schedule coming up for the year. They'll be starting November 20th and going through February 27th. The WCHA is the conference that the Bemidji Beavers are in. Last year, Minnesota State Mankato did win the division with a record of 23-4-1, 71 points. BSU was second, 25-3 at 65 points. And third place was Northern Michigan at 16-11-1, 50 points. WCHA has put out their preseason rankings. I think I saw BSU at 16. Last year, they did finish the season at 11. So they are a formidable team. They'll be up there. We'll see how it goes. I know the Big Ten's put theirs out also. Speaking of hockey, the American Hockey League, the AHL, kind of their minor league for hockey, pushes its season back to a February 5th start, while the NHL is shooting for January 1st. Now, I know we said last year the NHL is not doing an all-star game. They're not doing the Winter Classic, which is usually January 1st. But they still might make that their season opener. Last season in the AHL, the team representing closest to hometown here would be the Iowa Wild, the Minnesota Wild team. They finished in second place in the Central Division, 37-18, with 4 overtime losses, 4 shootout losses for 82 points. First place team was the Milwaukee Admirals. They finished in first place with 90 points. The Iowa Wild had 82. So hockey getting kicked around, they're getting started. Speaking of like minor league hockey, I was flipping channels the other day. I saw Spring League football on Fox Sports 1. It's kind of a developmental league. Jerry Glanville was the coach I saw doing a pregame speech. All I can say is about Glanville's speech is good thing it was on cable TV. Let's leave it at that. That's Jerry Glanville for you. Still had that fire in him. This is a regular league, kind of like the XFL or the AAL that tried to start this year, so it's kind of a minor league. The league consists of 6 teams. This weekend would be weekend 2. And all their games take place in the San Antonio Dome in Texas. And then there's 6 teams. So I was looking at one day at the schedule. All 6 teams played one day. They had a game at 11, a game at 3, and a game at 7. So they just pump them out. It's 4 weeks. Week 5 is a championship game. This is a great way for other players to stay in shape, get ready for next year. Not a lot of combines this year or next. This is kind of a one chance for these players to show what they got for next year. So Fox Sports 1 is where I saw it. So check your local cable if you're interested in that type of football, want to watch some of that. Pro wrestling update, a little news on NWA wrestling. First of all, Thunder Rosa was their women's champion. She'd been wrestling on AEW for a while with the NWA title. They mentioned that. But she's lost the belt, the NWA belt, to Serena Deeb, who was an NWA wrestler, but also wrestles on AEW. So with that said, Thunder Rosa's a free agent now. Who's she going to sign with? The big wrestling company, the entertainment wrestling company, as they say up in New York, the WWE is looking at her. AEW wants to sign her. Japan wants to sign her. So we'll see how that goes. But NWA has lost their women's champion, their North American champion, and their TV champion. They've all changed those belts in the last 3 weeks. But the big title held by Nick Aldis hasn't moved yet, which still brings up the speculation of the 2 companies merging. So you got to combine titles. There could be another title for them. How's that going to go? So just keep watching. You never know. You never know what you're going to see. One guy from NWA, Cowboy James Storm. He was one half of the tag team champions. He showed up on ROH for their or TNA Bound for Glory pay-per-view last week. So he's gone somewhere else. So that means their tag team titles are going to be up for grabs. So as much as they say they want to still be a company, we'll see what happens. So don't be surprised if you see that changes from there. The only college football note I'm going to get into, because kind of bitter around here with the Gophers losing 2 weeks in a row. We're not going to bring that up. But Trevor Lawrence, quarterback out of Clemson, a long-haired kid. Everybody says it reminds me of the kid from Remember the Titans. They call him Sonny or whatever. It's his junior year, and everybody's like, oh, he'll be a number 1 pick. And a lot of rumors are coming out going, he might pull what Peyton Manning did. Peyton's junior year, he was supposed to come out and be the number 1 pick. And then when it looked like the Jets were going to get the number 1 pick, funny, Peyton said he was going back to college for his senior year. And that's the year the Jets ended up taking Keyshawn Johnson. Well, it's looking like the Jets might get the number 1 pick again. And funny, Trevor Lawrence is saying he might forego the draft to come back for his senior year. I think Trevor knew a little something, kind of playing the conspiracy theory card here. Because funny, he said that, And 2 days later, it came out that he tested positive for the COVID-19 and has to miss 2 weeks. Clemson's ranked number 1, backup quarterback. They won this week, come from behind victory. But next week, they go against number 4 Notre Dame, and he's supposed to miss it. So is he coming back for senior year knowing he was going to miss these 2 weeks, and they might not get the national championship, knowing they're going to lose a big ranked game? Is he not coming back, or is he coming back for senior year because he doesn't want to go to the Jets? Or is he just the throwback who wants to play college football through his senior year? Who knows? I'd like to hope it was for the last one, play through your senior year. But maybe he's smart enough to know that he wanted to play for a chance at the national championship, which is why you play college football.
Yeah.
Like they say, you play to win the game.
Do you think, Andy, that he's just testing the waters and sending out kind of a test balloon?
Yeah, I think he might be throwing it out there, see what kind of speculation he gets, see what all the reports say. Going, well, geez, he's the top-ranked guy this year, and well, next year's class, is he still considered the top-ranked guy? So someone this year who might pass him up and he'd drop. You never know. I think a lot of it is, I'm going to play the conspiracy theory card. I think he made that statement knowing he was he failed the COVID test but hadn't hit the media yet. So he was getting ahead of that.
Get ahead of the story.
I might say. So, Minnesota high school sports, we announced the matchups for the championship games for soccer last week. A couple finals had been done. 8 conferences, 8AA for boys and girls. Just going to kind of rip through the winners here real quick, and congratulations to all of them. For boys, Section 1AA was the champion was Northfield. 2AA was Edina. Section 3AA, Lakeville North. 4AA, Stillwater. Mounds View in the 5. Wayzata 6. Centennial in 7. And 8AA champion is Maple Grove. Concerning the section single A. 1 was Austin. 2, Bloomington Kennedy. 3 was Holy Angels. 4, Matamidi. 5 was Breck. 6A champion is Orono. 7, Duluth Denfield. And 8 was St. Cloud Tech. So those are your boys' champions. For girls for soccer, 1AA was Lakeville South. Minnetonka took the 2AA championship. Egan with 3, Stillwater 4AA, Champlain Park, your 5AA champion. Wayzata was 6, Centennial 7, and Maple Grove 8. In single A for girls, 1 was Winona, 2, Waconia, state champions. 3, Holy Angels. 4, Hill Murray. 5, Benilde St. Margaret. 6, Orono. 7A champion Cloquet. And 8 is Sartell. So congratulations to those teams. We'll watch for them next year. Speaking of states, football. Usually we go off the Star Tribune rankings. Try to do a site called Max Prep. It's kind of a national site. So going off of that one, this is for the Minnesota schools course. Theirs is more computer analytics based, not coaches poll. So this is not what the other 20 coaches in conference said. This is off computer analytics, strength of schedule, this and that. So these might be different than your Star Tribune one, but that's kind of what we do here, stuff a little different too. So we'll see how it goes. And this might give us better read of teams for when the tournaments come around. Not who the coaches liked, but what the analytics say, because that's kind of the way sports are going. Worked for the Cubs and the Red Sox analytics, or so they say. So we'll see how it works out. For 6A football, their top 3 are Lakeville South, Eden Prairie, and Rosemont. For 5A is Moorhead, Owatonna, and St. Thomas Academy. 4A is Rocori, Becker, and Hutchinson. 3A is Cannon Falls, Waseca, and Albany. 2A, according to Max Prep Sports, Caledonia 1, North Community in Minneapolis is 2, and Blue Earth is 3rd. 1A, Blooming Prairie 1, Breckenridge 2, Mahnomen Wauburn up in Mahnomen is 3, and 9-man is Grand Meadow, Hancock, and Hills Beaver Creek. Not a lot of sports going on still. We do have volleyball has started, girls volleyball. Their rankings here for those top 3, again, through Max Prep Sports. 3A's got Maple Grove at first with a 7-0 record, Egan second at 3-0, and Northfield 7-0, ranked 3rd. 2A, Stewartville 7-0. Second, St. Croix Lutheran out of West St. Paul at 6-0, and Albany is third with a 4-0 record. And 180 at that, sorry about that. Flipping the camera there, sorry about that. One, Mabel is 1 at 6-0. Southridge is 5-0-2. And Faribault Bethel Academy at 2-0 is ranked third. Speaking of high school sports, high school football, before we get into that here, from the Herald Journal blog, this last Friday, for the first time ever, since September 1st of 2007, Watertown Mayor was able to snap their 29-game losing streak. The 28-10 upset win over Glencoe Silver Lake. So congratulations to the boys there at Watertown Mayor for breaking that streak. Get that monkey off your back. I know here a couple of years ago, the word was, because I living in Watertown, I kind of heard this in the local papers and through the schools, they were thinking of not having a football team anymore. In fact, 2 years ago, their football team, they didn't have a JV team. So their starters on varsity were their 9th and 10th graders. So those kids have played up, been up through, had the tough time. So good win for all of them.
Well, especially, I mean, Glencoe Silver Lake has been such a powerhouse for so many years.
Right. So,
what a way to break the record, huh?
Yes. Nice team to end that with. Speaking of playoffs, Korean baseball ended their season. Their playoffs started yesterday or this morning on the ESPN family of networks, we'll say, or the ESPN app. You can catch the games. They'll be live. So it'll be like 3 a.m, like their regular season games were for us here. ESPN News and ESPN2 and stuff will have them on. 10 teams in the division. Top 5 make it. And what they do for playoffs, it's a step ladder format. So 4 plays 5, then the winner goes on to play 3, that winner goes on to 2, that winner goes on to 1. So you be the 1 seed, and you might wait a couple weeks to get to somebody, but that's how it goes. The NC Dinos were your top seed, or number 1. They won the division with an 83-55 record and 6 draws. 144-game season. They got all their games in. They played through the whole pandemic here, so they played in empty stadiums when we were sitting there not knowing what we were going to do. They kept playing. The KT Wiz was second with an 81-62 record. The Dawson Bears were 79-61. And then the first round of games, in their wild card will be the LG Twins at 79-61 and 4 against the Kwan Heroes, who were 80-63-1. So by percentage points is how they differed there. So they'll have their games going. Very interesting if you're into that. Check out the ESPN family of networks. You can always catch replays of the game too on the app, ESPN app, if you're interested. Some players' names from their season ending, that names you might know here in the U.S. Going into that last week, there's a chance that a guy might have had the Triple Crown. Mel Rojas Jr. Mel Rojas is a former Major League pitcher who played 10 seasons in the Bigs from part of 97 through 98, was with the New York Mets organization. Had a 34-31 record as a pitcher. Funny, his son's not a pitcher, which is kind of, I'm seeing that more and more. Just because the dad was a pitcher doesn't mean the son is. A lot of guys aren't following the same position as dad, so it's kind of nice to see too. You're still following dad's footsteps, but not really. Anyway, Mel Rojas Jr. Led the league in home runs with 47, had 135 RBIs, led the league with 116 runs, but finished third in batting average. He batted .349. Chai-Chi, or Hung Wo Chai-Chi, who led the league at .354. So by just 0.005 points, he lost, getting the Triple Crown. So it's still a great season for him. Maybe keep an eye on that name. We'll see him coming here to the States. He's had some minor league experience. Never had a cup of coffee in the majors, but did play minor league. He was drafted by the Pirates in the minors. He was traded to the Braves. He was part of the organization until this last year when he went to Korea to play. The pitchers, there sees a couple names you might recognize. There's some guys you'll have to look for them. It was all kind of spread out. Really nice to see. Not one dominant pitcher, not one dominant staff. The KBO, you can go to their website, look up all the names. Dan Starley was a top pitcher for strikeouts, 205 strikeouts. So Dan had a brief stint in the majors. He played for the Cubs 1 year through the 2019 season. He or the A's, I'm sorry. Ended up playing for the A's from 2012 to 2014, and through the Orioles through 2019, played with a handful of different teams, had a 44-40 record. So he's a decent pitcher. He's gone to Korea now, kind of clean up some stuff as a reliever. We'll see how he does. If that name comes back too, you never know. It's always kind of fun to watch these guys go there, kind of like to a minor league and come back, see how they finish up. But you can go to KBO, their website, to look up more stats, look up other names of maybe former players that you might know or are a fan of. Look them up. Follow on ESPN for their playoffs. That's what I got for sports. Before I go to the history and birthdays, Dan, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Just want to mention in Major League Baseball, the Dodgers won the World Series in 6 games. Vikings won today against the Packers in Lambeau. And the Gophers went to Maryland and lost to the Terps. That's all.
Yeah. I was a little concerned watching the Viking game today. I saw Dalvin Cook ran in 4 touchdowns, which is good because I was playing against Jefferson and Thielen and Cousins. So I was very happy to see that. And I had Aaron Rodgers on my team, so it was a tough game to watch. So, yep, they got theirs. A lot of concern with the Dodgers, too, about the one player turning gets pulled in the 8th inning because he'd failed the COVID test, but yet comes back out and celebrates with the team.
Yes.
Hearing a lot of stories, both sides on that. My point is, he's been out there for 8 innings already. What's this other hour going to help or hurt? You know? So we'll see. Let it ride out for a couple weeks, see who else gets sick or doesn't get sick, and go from there and see who gets the last laugh on that one. We'll start with this week in sports history. October 26th, kind of going back here, 1887. Detroit of the National League beats the St. Louis of the AA 10-5 in the World Series. 1934, well, Washington Senators player-manager Joe Crow and honeymoons with Mildred Robertson, owner Clark Griffith's niece and adopted daughter. He is sold to the White Sox. So you marry the owner's niece, you're out of here. See ya. That's cold, man. That's cold. 1960, the American League approves Washington Senators' move to become the Minnesota Twins and announces franchise in Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. for 1961. 2018, the longest baseball World Series game in both innings and time. The Dodgers beat the Red Sox 3-2 in 18 innings, which was 7 hours and 20 minutes. In Game 3 of Dodger Stadium, where Max Muncy 1950, Chuck Foreman, former Viking running back, born on that day. 1978, Philip Jack Brooks, also known in pro wrestling as CM Punk, born 1978. October 27th, 1986, the New York Mets beat the Boston Red Sox 4-3 in the '83 World Series. Now, I'm not just going to sit here and tweet the Mets horns all the time. On that same day in 1991, the Twins beat the Braves 1-0 in 10 innings in Game 7 of, the greatest baseball game in World Series history. Best pitching performance ever by both. Best pitching performance and second best pitching performance by Smoltz, in my opinion. The 2 best pitching performances ever right there. So very awesome game. If for some reason you have never seen it or you want to see it again, you've got to find that game and watch it. Very great game. Birthdays for that day, 1922, Ralph Kiner. American League Baseball Hall of Famer, National League home run leader from 46 to 52. 6-time All-Star, played for the Pirates. Was a broadcaster for the Mets for many a year. 1941, NASCAR driver Dick Trickle was born in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. 1960, former Twin Tom Nieto was born. 1960 in Downey, California. Also, former Twin born in 1972, Brad Radke. Birthday. I did not realize he was that old. I didn't know he was born in 72. I thought he was younger than that. I didn't think he was that. Born in Wisconsin, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. October 28th, 1961. Ground was broken for the municipal stadium where the Mets played. They were called Shea Stadium. And birthdays for October 28th, 1926. Bowie Kuhn, former American lawyer and sports administrator and Major League Baseball commissioner. Born in Maryland. Commissioner from 69 to 84. 1929. Or October 29th, 1945, I'm sorry. Happy Chandler resigns as a U.S. Senator, but still remained on as baseball commissioner. Took the easier of the two jobs, I think, maybe.
Yes.
Birthday, Dick Grammer, American baseball guard for the Minneapolis Lakers, was born in Hibbing, Minnesota. Played for Minneapolis from 57 to 60, All-Star. And 1961 birthday, Joel Otto, born in Elk River, Minnesota, former NHL center for the Flyers and Team USA in 1998. 1974, R.A. Dickey, former Major League Baseball All-Star and Cy Young Award winner, and a strikeout leader in 2012. Gold Glove winner in 2013, played for the Mets, and then robbed the Blue Jays of millions of dollars the next year. Born in Nashville, Tennessee. October 30th, 1919, Baseball League presidents call for the abolishment of the spitball. Sad. 1973, Tom Seaver becomes the first non-20 game winner to win the Cy Young Award. He was 19-10 that year. That saw him lead the National League in earned run average at 2.08, complete games 18, and strikeouts at 215, but finished 5 games back of league leader Ryan Brandt in the win column. So he only had 19 wins. Brandt had 24. But Tom Terrific led in ERA, complete games, and Ks. So, and that's kind of weird to believe. 1973, first non-20 game winner. So that's pretty amazing right there. Birthdays for that day, 1935, Jim Perry, former Minnesota Twin pitcher, birthday, born in North Carolina. Again, stick with the former Twins, Mark Portugal, born 1962, born in Los Angeles, California. October 31st, 1943, Washington Redskins Sammy Baugh passes for 6 touchdown passes against Brooklyn in a 48-10 win. The reason I say this, back in 43, 6 touchdown passes was all I heard of. That was sometimes a season number for some guys. He had 6 in a game. Birthdays, 1900, Cal Hubbard, American football and baseball player and umpire. Only person in the Baseball and Football Hall of Fame. I did not know that.
Wow.
Born in Missouri. Because I know Bud Grant's in both the Basketball and Football Hall of Fame. But Carl Hubbard in both baseball and football.
Yeah.
1951, Nick Saban, American football coach, born. Championships, many of them with Alabama. Born in West Virginia. 1959, Ann Hendrickson, American tennis star, born in St. Paul, Minnesota. November 1st, 1964, Houston Oilers quarterback George Blanda attempts an AFL record 68 passes, 37 completed.
Wow.
And here's the part, in a 24-10 loss to the Buffalo Bills. He scored 10 points and he completed 37 passes. 1966, the NFL awards a new franchise to New Orleans named the Saints. Now, I never knew this. They were named the Saints because they got that team name on November 1st, which is All Saints Day in the Catholic faith. Did not know that.
No, I did not.
Run that one by your parents, see if they know that one.
Yes.
Yes. 1968, pitcher Denny McLain is named the unanimous AL Cy Young Award winner by finishing the season 31-6 for the World Series winning Tigers. 1982, Major League Baseball owners vote not to renew the contract of Bowie Kuhn. His contract. The AL owners vote 11-3, NL 7-5, too shy of the 3/4 majority needed for re-election. Eventually, he was replaced with Peter Ueberroth. So I did not know he just wasn't voted in. I guess at the time I was 12 and didn't really care who commissioner was either. So
yeah,
didn't follow it that hardly. 1998, Steve Young and Jerry Rice hook up for their 80th career touchdown in the Niners' 36-22 loss to the Packers at Lambeau Field, eclipsing the NFL record held by Miami Dolphins tandem of Dan Marino and Mark Clayton. 2003, John Garlardi ties Eddie Robinson's record for college football wins. John was coach up at Division III St. John's here in Minnesota. Tied Eddie Robinson's record with his 408th win, a 15-12 win over St. Thomas. What a better win that gives your rival get the win, you know? And in 2003, University of Pittsburgh wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald establishes an NCAA record with a touchdown reception in his 14th straight game as Pittsburgh beat BC 24-13. Birthday is 1944. Raymond Lewis Heenan, also known as Bobby the Brain Heenan, had a birthday today. In 1960, Fernando Valenzuela, Hall of Fame pitcher, had a no-hitter in 1990. Six-time All-Star with the Dodgers. Got the signing in 81. I believe he ended his career at the Padres, didn't he?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where he ended it with, but yeah, he was good.
Remember, at the end, he was wearing glasses and everything else. Just the age was really starting to catch up to him out of nowhere. 1979, Coco Crisp, World Series for 2007 for the Red Sox, AL stolen base leader in 2011. Birthday day. That's it for sports, which will transition us into the music segment of the show. History. October 26, 2019. The beat-up sweater Kurt Cobain wore in Nirvana's MTV Unplugged special sells at auction for $3,340 or $334,000. After Cobain died, Courtney Love gave it to the family's nanny, who sold it to pay for cancer treatments. 2018, 50 Cent, or just 50 as I call him. This is great. I'm sorry. I think this is hilarious. Uses Groupon to buy 200 tickets to an upcoming J. Rule concert for $15 each, just so the seats will be empty. I thought that was classic.
Excellent.
Buys 200 seats just so there's no one there. 1963, Natalie Merchant, lead singer of 10,000 Maniacs, born in Jamestown, New York. 1952, David Was, the other member of Was Not Was, is born in Detroit, Michigan. 1951, Bootsy Collins is born William Earl Collins in Cincinnati, Ohio. The bass player will rise to prominence as a member of the James Brown backing band in the 1970s before joining the Funkadelics. 1946, Keith Hopwood, rhythm guitarist for Herman's Hermits, born in Manchester, England, 1946. In 1929, Neil Matthews Jr. of the Jordanaires, backup vocalist for Elvis Presley, was born in Nashville, Tennessee. October 27th, 1975, Bruce Springsteen appears on the cover of both Time and Newsweek amid the acclaim of his third album, Born to Run. In 2007, led by the Werewolves of London / Sweet Home Alabama mashup all summer long, Kid Rock's Rock and Roll Jesus hits #1 in America, giving him his first chart-topping album. Now, here's one I didn't know. In 1982, Prince releases his fifth album, 1999. I did not realize that was his fifth album already. He had a lot of non-popular albums before that, I guess we'll say it. But in 82, he releases his fifth album, 1999. It's a breakthrough, selling well over 5 million copies worldwide, thanks to Little Red Corvette and the title track, 1999. Birthday is 1984, Kelly Osbourne, born in London. 1967, Scott Weiland of the Stone Temple Pilots, born Scott Richard Klein in San Jose, California. His parents divorced 2 years later, and he becomes Scott Weiland after his mother marries David Weiland. 1958, Simon Le Bon, lead singer of Duran Duran, is born. He joins the band in 1980 after the replacement of Stephen Duffy, touring up for his audition in a pair of pink leopard pants. 1951, K.K. Downing of Judas Priest, guitarist, born in England. 1942, country singer Lee Greenwood, born Melvin Lee Greenwood in Los Angeles, California. October 28th, very sad day for Kiss fans. October 20th, 1978, Kiss star in the TV movie Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Yeah, it's a cult classic at best.
Yes.
I heard rumors. I heard on 93X they were talking about that day, and it was years after that. Members of Kiss said anyone who worked with the band was not to mention that movie. It's kind of become a cult classic in a way now.
It was bad. The overdubbing of the lines,
Oh
was so bad it became a cult classic, I think.
yeah, you almost think they were given the lines before they read them. Like just give it to them, you know. Birthdays, 1978. Justin Guarini, who became second to Kelly Clarkson on American Idol, was born. And the reason I'm bringing that up, I'm definitely not an American Idol fan, but he finished second to Kelly Clarkson. He had the big curly, puffy hair that first season. But he is also the voice and character of Little Sweet in the Dr. Pepper commercials.
Oh, it is?
Yes, and the reason they said he got the job, he's the only guy they knew that could hit a note that high.
Oh, that is him?
That is him.
I didn't know it. I like those.
Yeah, he is Little Sweet in the Dr. Pepper commercials.
Oh, my God, I did not know. That's awesome.
So, yes. 1948, Toma Hopkins of 20 Orlando and Dawn is born in Louisville, Kentucky. Also a popular actress, best known for her role as Rachel Crawford in the 90s TV show Family Matters. In 1936, Charlie Daniels would have another birthday. Born Charles Edward Daniels in North Carolina. October 29th, 1983. Islands in the Stream, written by the Bee Gees, was intended for Marvin Gaye. Goes to number 1 in the U.S. as a duet by Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. 1986. Axl Rose announces that Slash is no longer a member of Guns N' Roses. Slash forms Slash's Snake Pit and Velvet Revolver, while Axl keeps Guns N' Roses going with a variety of new faces. I've heard a lot of Slash's solo stuff with different singers. Great. I love his solo stuff almost better than the Guns N' Roses stuff.
Oh, really?
Right? That's no rip on Axl. Just I like Slash's guitar work. I think he's more Kim. You can ever picture any of Slash's solo stuff, Velvet Revolver, and all that. Good listening. 1984, Frankie Goes to Hollywood releases their debut album, Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. In the UK, Frankie Says Relax. Just remember that. 1983, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album breaks the record for most weeks on Billboard's chart when it eclipses Johnny Mathis's Greatest Hits by Johnny Mathis, which was on the charts for 491 weeks. Dark Side of the Moon remained on the charts till 1988 when it tops off at 724 weeks. 52 weeks a year, do the math. That's
wow.
Thanks to reissues and promotions, it returns from time to time. It's now reached a total of over 880 weeks on the chart altogether. Sorry, for an album that's really not that good. I mean, it's a good album, don't get me wrong, but I don't see 880 weeks on the charts, you know.
That's unbelievable.
Doesn't everyone have it by now? Birthdays, 1961, Randy Jackson of the Jackson 5, born Stephen Randall Jackson in Gary, Indiana. As the 9th child, he's both the youngest Jackson brother and youngest child in the family until baby sister Janet's born in 1966. 1955 would have been Kevin DuBrow, lead singer of Quiet Riot, would have been his birthday. October 30th, 1998. The original members of Black Sabbath reunite for a one-off performance on the David Letterman show. That's something I'm going to have to YouTube and look up. That's going to be pretty good, I bet.
Wow.
1984, less than 2 years after its release, the RIAA certifies Michael Jackson's Thriller album with sales of 20 million copies in America, introducing the new design of Double Diamond. The sales for Thriller are unprecedented, keep climbing to well over 30 million. It's not until 1994 another album hits the Double Diamond designation, and that's the Greatest Hits package by the Eagles. Their Greatest Hits 71 through 75. 1999, Santana's Supernatural album goes to number 1 in America, giving the group its first top charting album in 28 years. Carlos Santana. 1960, Joey Belladonna, vocals for Anthrax, birthday. 1947, Timothy B. Schmidt, bass player for the Eagles, born in Oakland, California. 1946, drummer Chris Slade of AC/DC and Man for Man, born. Now the little plays of Chris Slade's on the new AC/DC album or not, or how he was. There's a lot of stories going on that coming up because of the new AC/DC album coming out. Was he replaced? How he was replaced? I heard so many different stories. I'm not even going to get into the situation there, but good gossip to follow on online if you're into that. October 31st, 1917. At a show in London, the crowd pelts Harry Styles with kiwi fruit when he performs his song Kiwi. To protect the singer, when he plays in Manchester 3 days later, the grocery stores refuse to sell fruit to anyone under the age of 25.
Interesting.
And in 1991, after meeting at their ex-manager's funeral, Spinal Tap announces a reunion. It was destiny, and also because none of us were really making money and we had nothing else to do, is what Derek Small says. So their second album came out then. 1998, Kiss launched their Psycho Circus tour with a Halloween show in Los Angeles, with abruptly Smashing Pumpkins as the opening act. And in 1992, Joan Jett stars on an episode of the TV series Highlander, playing one of the Immortals. Her version of Cherry Bomb is featured. Birthdays for that day, 1967, Robert Matthews Van Winkle, also known as Vanilla Ice.
Ice, Ice Baby.
Born in Dallas, Texas. And then 1966, Adam Horowitz, also known as Ad Rock of the Beastie Boys, born in Manhattan, New York. November 1st, 1985, the Recording Industry Association of America agrees to set some demands made by another organization, the PMRC.
Oh, yes.
As a result, any album deemed to contain offensive lyrics must be issued with a warning label, or the lyrics must be printed on the sleeve. Most record companies go with the labels, which doesn't seem to hurt sales at all. It almost kind of backfired in the PMRC, those rap albums, hard rock album. That's right. 1990, yes. NWA, all those rap albums, yeah, they skyrocketed. 1994, Nirvana's MTV Unplugged in New York album, taken from the performance earlier that year, is finally released. The album targets the chops in many countries, including the US, UK, and Australia. What, Betty Lou? Did you want to come here? Betty Lou's popping off if you hear her in the background there.
I see.
In 2005, Black Sabbath is inducted into the UK Music Hall of Fame by Brian May of Queen. The band plays Paranoid at the ceremony, and Ozzy moons the crowd, feeling they weren't rocking hard enough. That's Ozzy for you. 1986, playing a character named Cinnamon, Stacey Q performs her hit Two of Hearts on a Facts of Life episode, Off-Broadway Baby.
Okay.
And in 1975, Elton John's Island Girl hits #1 in America for the first of 3 weeks, knocking off an Elton John song that he sang backup to, Bad Blood by Neil Sedaka. And in 1975, at the Labor Temple in Minneapolis, Faces play their last concert. Lead singer Rod Stewart, already well known for his solo career, and guitarist Ron Wood, who's been playing with the Rolling Stones for months. So I guess they were okay after that. They did okay for themselves. 1970, the Festfolk Quartet, which later became ABBA, played their first ever concert in Sweden. And birthdays for this day, 1963, Rick Allen, the Thunder God, drummer of Def Leppard. 1962, Anthony Kiedis, lead singer of Red Hot Chili Peppers, born in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And 1951, Ronald Bell, tenor saxophone for Kool and the Gang, born in Youngstown, Ohio. Nice little threesome for a band right there.
Oh, yes.
Getting that tenor sax on there, everything.
Tenor sax.
Yes, and that's what I got, sir. How about you for this album you're listening to this week in your Sony Walkman?
Well, the Sony Walkman this week, I've got an album review coming up here. Let me pull it up. You may have heard of it. 1987 release called Fraley's Comet.
I have that one.
Yeah, so do I. Not bad, not bad. Fraley's Comet was an American rock band formed and led by ex-Kiss lead guitarist Ace Frehley. The group released 2 studio albums and 1 live EP. And so what this relates to, and the reason I picked this, being a Kiss fan, of course, and being a Ace Frehley fan, is the reason I picked this one. Fraley's Comet, they named this album was supposed to be called Fraley's Comet. Halley's Comet was out at the time, making all the news. This was in '87. He says, I'll name my album Fraley's Comet. They like it so much they named the band Fraley's Comet. And so Frehley started his solo career in 1984 and was recording with the new band and released this album. Here's the track listing here. Song 1 is Rock Soldiers. Very good song there.
Yep.
Song 2 is Breakout. Actually sung, lead vocals on that is by Todd Howarth, who sang 3 songs on the album. Into the Night is my favorite. That's an old Russ Ballard song that he did in '84, came out in '87. Into the Night, really good song. Song 4 was Something Moved. Song 5 is We Got Your Rock. Now, on song 5, We Got Your Rock, I'm going to find here this history, if I can find it. That was supposed to be a song. Here, I'll come back to that. It was actually written for someone else. We Got Your Rock was originally written in 1983.
Oh, wow.
As a follow-up. It was supposed to be a follow-up to Joan Jett's I Love Rock and Roll. It was supposed to be a follow-up for her. They used it instead in '87 here as Fraley's Comet song. I did not know that. Song 6 is Love Me Right. Song 7 is Calling to You, also sung by Howarth. Song 8 is Dolls. Song 9, Stranger in a Strange Land. And song 10 is an instrumental just called Fractured 2. The instrumental there, Fractured 2. It's really meant to be the second, although the title of the song is Fractured 2, T-O-O, as in also. But off of 1978 solo album by Ace Frehley, it was the instrumental Fractured, I think it's Fractured Mirror.
Was that on their Best of Solos albums?
I think so.
Okay.
We did this on Fractured 2, later on released, I think, Fractured maybe 3, but good stuff there. So 10 songs on the album. One's an instrumental, so really 9. Ace Frehley sings 6. Todd Howarth sings the other 3. And they got John Reagan on bass guitar, Todd Howarth on rhythm and lead guitars, Ace Frehley lead, rhythm guitars, and lead and backing vocals. And we all know the drummer Anton Fig from the CBS Orchestra.
Yes.
So Anton Fig's been around, session drummer for many, many groups. It goes way back. And so the song, the album here, Fraley's Comet, if you know Eddie Trunk, in 2016, Eddie Trunk selected this album as one of the albums that, quote, changed his life. Or he announced that on the Team Rock website. Eddie Trunk. Good stuff here.
Yeah, so that was a good cut. I like Ace's solo stuff there at the end. Kind of had a little bit of that chip off his shoulder. He wasn't trying to be the man anymore. He's just having fun. And that was kind of that time where Kiss was doing their thing. Ace did his solo album. Vinnie Vincent was trying to do solo stuff with the Vinnie Vincent Invasion. So that was some good albums out there. I mean, because they kind of had, I think they're trying to outdo each other. So that competition between them. I agree. Rock Soldiers is a good song. I enjoy that one. And the way Ace let someone else sing on the album too, I really like that idea.
Yeah, Frehley left Kiss in 1982, but retained a 1/4 share in Kiss and could not release any solo projects until 1985 without losing that share. So during this time, Ace put together a band for his solo work. The original lineup actually consisted of Richie Scarlett on guitar, John Reagan on bass, and Anton Fig on drums. However, before they made their initial record, Scarlet was replaced by Todd Howarth. Fraley's Comet was supposed to be simply the title of Ace's next solo album, but Ace decided to use that as the name of the band rather than release the record as a solo artist. The second album that they did as a group was called Second Sighting. And by this time, Anton Fig was replaced on drums by veteran Eric Clapton band member Jamie Oldaker. The 2 studio albums and 1 live album were released under the Fraley's Comet moniker. And after that, though, he did his third release, Fraley, called Trouble Walking. Then he went back to just the Ace Fraley solo. And so he started using that. But it was interesting because in 1978, when the 4 Kiss members did their solo album, Ace Frehley's was the most successful of the Kiss solo albums, and also, laid the groundwork for his solo career. And he's still doing music and whatnot now. He appeared. I went to an event in New Hope at the Cinema Grill where he does like a 90-minute kind of a talk and answer show in front of live fans and things like that. And got to see him. Ace is a good guy. Had his troubles back in the day, but he's also very out there. Fun guy.
I think when the band tried to get
rock
back
star.
Yeah, I think when the band tried to get back together too, just they picked the scab at each other too much, and that's why it didn't work. Their unplugged thing was cool. That was neat to see. But when they got back together, put the makeup on, that really bothered me. Yeah, I think part of it's because I'm a big Bruce Kulick guy, and he got booted out. So
Yeah.
And then they had a good mix there with Matt Singer on drums, and they just kind of let it all go. I think when they try to get back together, just those scabs and those wounds never healed from before. Get back to Anton Fig. He was in Kix, K-I-X, the band Kix. And he was also one of the drummers for a band we've talked about on here, the Blues Brothers.
That was him.
That was him. He was a drummer with the Blues Brothers for a while, too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. So he's done some stuff there. He's done, like I said, the studio work, he said, like CBS. So very good studio musician. Very good, he's going to be the unsung hero, if you will, sometimes. But yeah, there was a good pick for Ace to have on drums there, I thought.
That was very good. So I like that. I like that album. Got a lot of listened to that quite a bit back in '87 and '88. Still popping in once in a while now. But that's my album review of the week for this episode number 46.
All right. I know next week's show, the big 1-year anniversary show, we'll be doing earlier in the week because of travel for both of us next weekend. But we'll be going over 1 year. It's be another regular show. Nothing special, but maybe a little. Neither one of us are savvy enough to pull up highlights from the last year, so don't worry about any of that. We're not going to play highlight clips from the last year. But it's been 1 year. It's been fun. We've done a lot of stuff. We've got the blog going now every now and then. We've started doing Instagram stuff. We're growing. If there's anything you want to see for changes, let us know on the Facebook page or email us. Let us know, hey, more of this, less of that. What do you want to know?
I do have a note from earlier in the segment. We're talking about Fernando Valenzuela.
Yes.
It's 60th birthday, of course. Happy birthday to him, his 60th birthday. He played finally with the St. Louis Cardinals, was the final team he played with after the Padres. Then he went into broadcast.
Oh, okay.
So little known fact there, but Fernando, happy 60th birthday today.
Breathing out of the wrong eyelid sometimes.
Exactly.
That's why I went to the glasses. The eyelid breathing wasn't working.
That's all I've got for this week. Remember, next week, our 1 year anniversary show is coming up we're still the leading, fastest growing sports podcast in all of Western Carver County.
That's right. We cannot stop.
Any final words?
No, just like I said, let us know things you want to see on the show. As we mentioned, high school sports, if you want your team mentioned or pro sports team or your team mentioned, give us a drop. Let us know.
Awesome. Please leave your comments down in the description in the comment section below, and look forward to seeing you in the future. Have a good one.
Bye.